You're listening to This Week in Property. Stay current, relevant and up to date in the world of property investment. Learn from the UK's leading property professionals and grow your property business.
Hello and welcome to This Week in Property. I'm your host Richard Swan, and in today's show we have another guest that we're bringing under the spotlight, the Property Pros Spotlight, where we bring people in who are actually doing this stuff. They're doing the business, they're in the world of property. Hands are getting dirty, sleeves are getting rolled up, and they can share with you what they're doing, what areas they're involved in, what kind of deals are they working on, what's their experiences, opinions, how do they look forward, what's their whole business model, what's behind what they do. And the gentleman that I have in there is Craig Winnard. Craig, welcome to This Week in Property.
Thank you, Richard.
We know you very well. You've been with us through some of the PMW training stuff, through the Property Protégé programme. You work closely with the guys in the Platinum Inner Circles. Fantastic stuff that you're doing. But the viewers, the guys and girls who are tuning in just now, they're in their cubicles, they're in their jobs, they're maybe in another business, maybe they even started in property, but they tune into these shows because they love hearing from people like yourselves in the trenches, doing the stuff, doing the business, and they want to hear about that. But who are you? Who is this guy, that Richard's dragged onto the show? If I look back before all this madness that you've got, What's the backstory? Where were we brought up? What did we get to? What was the career path that brought you here?
I would say it's fairly ordinary upbringing, really. I've always sort of had the mindset where I've never wanted to delve into books and study
right.
to do an exam
right.
at the end of the year to prove myself on a piece of paper. That's never really been my bag. I've preferred to have a purpose behind it, whether it's to help someone, whether it's to see a project complete or whatever it is. And I've always liked to just get to the result.
Right.
And get on with things. And I think I didn't realise it back then, but from a young age, I started up a car cleaning business at about age 8. About 8, something like that.
There's an entrepreneur. That's when you're the wolf cub. Brilliant.
It was at the time with my best friend. He was called David.
Right.
We decided to call it Cravid.
Fantastic. I can just hear the media team just now. Oh my goodness.
It was. We made ourselves a little folder. We put all the clients' names in. I think we had about 7, something like that, 7 clients, and we'd go around and then clean my mum and dad's car, clean the neighbour's car. I think my brother at the time, he was 10 years older than me.
Right.
He'd just got a clapped out yellow Polo. He'd put red, from memory, I think he put red wing mirrors on it as well.
Lovely.
I don't know if he let us clean it or not. He wasn't that generous back then.
Just look at it.
So from there we sort of did that. I loved school. Absolutely loved school.
Right. So it was good times.
Loved it.
Right.
Loved it too much because I was having too much fun and not enough study. Went through high school. Just again. Probably had the ability to do it, but didn't like the study, exams. I didn't like it. I just like to get on with things.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, at the end of that, all my friends were going to what was Winstanley College, which was the better college in the area at the time, and I thought I was going there.
Right.
And then the exam results came through.
They suggested otherwise.
Yeah, unfortunately, they did. I came away with 2 C's and 7 D's. So
right?
Not the best. And I was like, I opened the piece of paper thinking I thought I'd passed.
Yeah,
I thought I got enough.
Had that feeling.
I thought I got enough, and I opened it. I was like, oh right. And everyone's like, yeah, we're going to Winstanley, and I'm thinking, I don't know what I'm doing. Am I joining the army or something? I don't know. And it was a little bit of a reality check. From my younger years, I think a lot of lads do. You want to be a professional footballer. You want to be a doctor. My parents said being a doctor's good. Then it went to surgeon. Then it was surgeon in America.
Oh my
and then
goodness.
I realised all the study and work that you'd have to do. And I'm thinking, nah, I'm not going to be a doctor. I'm not going to be a surgeon.
Right.
So yeah, it was just a little bit like, well, what do I do? I managed to get into Wigan College at the time. I was doing a construction in the built environment course. first year in that was great, and then the second year it just sort of tailored off into doing things that I was a little bit,
This is not it.
I don't know if I like this. And one of the lads that was on the course with who we became very good friends with said, I'm thinking of leaving, I'm going to be a fireman. So he said, and it's great, you're on £19,000 a year, all the girls fancy you.
And the uniform.
And I was like, I think I was probably like 17 then, I was like, sounds perfect, sounds absolutely perfect this. So I said, right, so we joined St Helens College, and we did a public service course, which I absolutely loved, because you were doing physical things as well as learning the academic side. I didn't mind because I was really interested in it.
I see, okay.
I think the problem with me at school was I was learning subjects that I weren't interested in, like French. I don't go to France, but I had to learn it. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. But then I had a lot of back problems, and because of the back problems, I was thinking, right, well, fireman. Is it a good idea?
Right, okay. Is that something that had always been with you from birth, or
no,
accidents, or?
No. I had a locked vertebrae. I was getting into training and going to the gym at the time. My mum was really wanting me to play golf more, and I was playing golf. And I think it was through golf, through the twisting.
Really, that?
I think
hear
so.
This?
Yeah.
Wow.
My mum wouldn't have it. As far as my mum was concerned, it's because you're going to the gym. You need to quit the gym and play golf.
And you're saying it's a golf?
I'm saying I'm sure it's the twisting, you know. So I at the time, a couple of years before, my dad had just sort of set up a new business, a estate agency, which at the time was Batten Brown, and it was just doing estate agency. It had an Halifax agency, the Building Society. Were back in the days where building societies used to be an estate agencies as well. And my brother had started there a year or two before, and he'd sort of set up lettings. So it was very much in its infancy, very early days.
Okay, there's a start of a property empire.
So it was just, my dad said, look, your back's not great.
Yep.
I don't think being in the fire service is a good thing. Why don't you come and work with us? And I didn't really fancy it. I was like, I don't want to be an estate agent. They don't have a good name.
Exactly.
They've got an awful reputation.
The girls are not going to be flocking for that one.
yeah, definitely not. But I thought, well, I didn't know what I wanted to do then. So I thought, right, I'll get into it. And like I say, it was very much in its infancy. I think my brother at the time was driving an old clapped out Nissan Bluebird. He used to get a lot of stick for. My dad was in a Nissan Maxima. I think I was in an old clapped out Sierra. And it was just at the start. And looking back, that's where you start, isn't it?
That's right. Yep, correct.
And we used to work a lot of long hours. It was myself and my brother that sort of developed the letting side. My dad was doing the estate agency side.
Right.
He was also doing the mortgages. This was back before you had to have all the qualifications. The estate agent did the mortgages as well. Everyone did everything all under one roof. And we just developed it and sort of grew it, and now we've got probably about 850 properties on our books.
Wow.
We started to very, very slowly buy properties and very slowly develop our portfolio.
Right, for yourselves?
For ourselves, yeah.
Exactly. You're doing that for other people through the business. But for yourself, you're thinking...
get people coming in, they'd ask you for advice, where to buy, and we made the same mistakes as everybody else does when you start off. We were buying in areas that we lived in, and we were buying properties that we liked, where we would live, rather than making a business decision.
Sure.
And the longer we were in the lettings, we started seeing, well, hang on a minute, that property over there is sort of like 40% cheaper, and it's getting the same rent. And they're getting occupied, and the tenants are just as good. And we at one point, I just said, look, we need to change our strategy here. We're spending this on these. But we had it on repayment mortgages as well, which is a slow way of developing. And over the years, because you're taught to pay your mortgage down.
Correct.
Everyone's taught to pay your mortgage down.
Yeah, that's right. You follow the rules.
Yeah, that's it. And then, so we just slowly developed that. And then back in 2010, we sold the estate agency side.
Right.
I'm sorry, 2013.
Okay.
It was 2013. So
you went through the whole crash and everything.
Yeah.
And it was after it. Oh,
after we'd survived it, we sold it.
I'm making you sweat there. Sorry about that.
No, not at all. No, the lettings business carried the sales side. It was great because how sales suddenly, it was like a light switch went off. Mm-hmm. There became a lot of accidental landlords. So where we lost out on one, we gained on another. So that was, it carried us through. And then when it had carried us through, we got to talking, we were doing figures more and more and more, and it was like, look, the estate agency side, we actually got approached by someone wanting to buy the business. Mm-hmm. And when we sort of had the chat with them, we sort of said, well, how much? And they basically said, well, no one wants estate agencies. They're worth nothing or virtually. Your values in your letting side, and it just got us to really analyse the business a lot more.
Right.
And we just decided, look, let's sell the estate agency side to another agent who it would have value to them.
Right.
Because we were sort of like second or third in most sales, and we sold. So we sold to the person who was first.
Brilliant.
So for them, it was like, wow, this is a dream come true.
They're like, this is perfect.
They just went they went up a lot further.
Good.
And we had a reciprocal agreement where we would refer sales to them, they would refer lettings to us.
Perfect.
So this worked quite well. Mm-hmm. And around then, I started attending more and more property seminars, more networking, and there's guys there, and they're like, yeah, I've got 200 properties, I've got 500 properties, and you're thinking, how the hell are these guys getting so many? And I've been involved, they're saying like, I've been involved in property 10 years, and I've got like hundreds, and you're thinking, how the hell are they doing this? Because we've been involved in it a lot longer.
Exactly.
And I think back at the time, we probably had 10, 15.
Right.
Because we were paying the mortgage down.
Yep.
So,
exactly.
It was just... So, after attending more and more, and I wanted to, I then started dealing with more and more investors, and I was spending more time with investors. I thought I need to really start charging for this service, because I was spending a lot of time with the investors just so that they'd come on the management with us.
Gotcha.
Which, when you sort of calculate my time spent on it and the value that they were getting, it wasn't really worth it. Mm-hmm. And then I saw a guy called, you might have heard of him, Paul McFadden.
Oh, rings a bell. It does ring a bell. Oh, so that's when he popped into your life.
And and I saw him, and I think, and I see him talking on stage. I'm thinking, who's this guy?
Brilliant.
And I'd seen what they were doing in the property trade, and I thought, I like the sound of this. I need to find out a bit more about it, because I had plenty of experience in property, in lettings, in investment.
Exactly.
But I wanted to work more with investors as well, as well as developing my own portfolio and the letting side. And it's just gone from there, really.
I love how you're, even from the childhood, but I'm following a thread, you've always got this open mind.
Yes.
Because it was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to this college. Then you get a knockback, a setback. Oh, right, okay. I wonder what we'll do now. Then you think, okay, is it the fireman thing? Is it the doctor thing? Okay, right. And then you chase it a wee bit more. Then there's another obstacle. It's the back. Ah, right, okay. And then your dad talks to you about the business. And you're like, I don't know, but I'll try it. Yeah. And then he tries it. And then you're in the business. And again, a lot of people without that open mindset, without that curiosity, would have switched off. Because they'd have went into the business, done the job, 95, however many hours a week, and that's it. That's the end. Yeah. But no, you're like, we're doing this wrong. I'm now looking at this. I'm getting a few light bulbs here, guys and girls. You know, we're putting more out, and why have we not got our own portfolio that's growing? And why are these investors doing well? And you know, so have you always had that? You seem to have that curiosity angle.
I've got to have an interest in it to want to learn about it.
Right.
You know, it's like I say, at school, there were so many subjects that I was like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
I mean, young, naive, stupid, call it what you want, but history classes now, I quite like learning about history now, but when I was young, I sort of stupidly, you'll laugh at this one, why are we learning about history? We're not going to go back in time. When I was younger, now I look back and I think, all right, I was wrong about that one. Right. Maybe you should learn a little bit about history.
Brilliant.
But yeah, I was very much like, I need a point to this to do it. Okay, if hit an obstacle, there's always a way to solve it.
Yes.
Okay, what do we do?
Yep.
You know, I know a lot of people, they sort of, this is the business plan, and they stick to it. Even if it's going wrong, I'm sticking to it.
Yep.
I'm more of a case of, look, if you need to change your business plan to get to where you need to go, change your business plan, alter it. Tenant fee bands coming in. When that got announced in the morning.
You see, all these different changes, that have popped up.
Yeah, I mean, the letting industry it's been under huge attack, hasn't it?
Yeah.
The last year or two. When that got announced about the tenant fee ban, I'm thinking, they can't bring this.
They're
not going to bring this in, surely. But obviously they did. It got announced in the morning, and when I looked at it, I was just sort of staring.
Do you remember that? Do you?
I was sat in my kitchen and looking at it, and my wife said, "What are you going to do?" And I went, "Going to have to think of something."
Brilliant. See?
And
no panic. The game's up.
There was a little bit of panic. I'll be honest. There was a little bit.
Sure.
But I thought I will think of something.
Exactly.
And then my wife rang me at lunchtime. How are you feeling? I said, fine. Solved it.
There you go.
I think I've solved it.
Fantastic.
And it was just a case. And the more these problems happen, and the more you sort of think, right, Luke, think of something.
Yeah.
There is 9 times out of 10, there's a way of fixing it.
Yeah.
And with that one, I just had to sit down, do some number crunching, look how much you're going to lose, what do you need to replace, what do you need to do
Exactly. What is the downside to you? And then what's my options? Problem solving. That's the perfect, symbol you said there. Problem solving. That's what we are.
Yeah.
And we continue to keep doing that. And you've done that through, you can see it, your whole childhood thing, the employment thing, what I'm going to do, the next learning part of the puzzle, and then the analysis of the business, problem, solution, solution. I love that.
Yeah. I mean, it's just one of the, you've got to do it, haven't you? You've got to do it. My mind is you've got to do it. You can't not do it, because if you don't, then you're going to get in trouble, aren't you? You might lose things that you've built, and
that's right. That's where things do collapse. If you stay blinking, because you spoke about the people who will continue on that track even when it's obviously not working. They just keep digging the hole. And you're shouting down the hole. What are you doing? Stop! Change. But no, they don't listen.
Or bury your head in the sand. Just ignore it.
Yeah.
Worst thing you can possibly do.
Yeah.
Even if you're straight with people and you say, look, I can't quite do this now, but I can do it then.
Yeah.
Or I've not quite got the ability to get you where you need to be right now. Here's where I am. I'm just being honest with you. People prefer that. They'll take you at face value and they'll respect it a lot more.
Totally. So problem solving, that's a brilliant takeaway you've given for the viewers listening in. You also touched upon one earlier where you were talking about your initial buying, your initial investment, and it's as if you're going to move in. Is that the other big takeaway for them? Stop doing that.
Yeah.
You're not going in the place.
It's definitely. One of the first things, and I totally get it.
Yep.
When investors come in to speak to me, they're thinking exactly the same.
Yep.
I'm going to buy a nice house. Standish is a nice area in Wigan where we live. Yeah. And they'll say, right, we're looking at buying a property in Standish. And our office is in Standish. I'm born and raised in Standish.
Right.
And I'll say, don't buy in Standish.
I'm a proud Standish man, but don't buy there. Don't invest there.
Yeah, no, I'm just like, right, just hear me out. Poor
Standish.
I know.
Now, to tell the Standish Tourist Board, we're not saying don't live there.
Yeah.
Go and live there.
Live there.
You're just talking to your investors, that's all. It's a different thing.
And I just say, look, you've got to make the decision with your head.
Yes, correct.
The great thing is now with one of the biggest products that we offer at the moment is what's called a rent on time. You've heard of rent guarantee, where if the tenant doesn't pay, you fill out an insurance claim, and it's 2 months down the line when you get your payment through. And that was great.
Yeah,
that you get paid eventually when there was nothing else. But a guy came in from Let Alliance to see me, and he said, right, we want you to switch to us to the referencing. Because we're a large agent in the area, we used to get this every week. Switch to us for referencing. Okay, what kind of deal can you do for us? Well, we'll charge you so much per reference. Nah, nowhere near. Right, well, what about if we do this? And we did. So the guy came in and he says to me, right, we will pay your rent to you.
Yep.
And on the day that it's due. Sort of like a factoring company, essentially.
Yeah.
If the tenant doesn't pay, we pay you. We collect off the tenant. If the tenant still doesn't pay, we carry on paying you.
Okay.
If they get to 2 months or more in arrears, we evict them, we cover all your solicitor's costs, all your court fees, all your court representation. Meanwhile, you're getting paid every single month on the due date. And I'll not disclose how much they charge us,
Right,
but
sure.
it's not a great deal for what they're doing.
So it's a no-brainer business-wise.
It was for me.
Yeah.
I thought he was crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
You try to work out his business model.
Yeah. I was in the meeting with my sister, because it's a family business.
Yeah.
And we both just looked at each other and just gave a little frown. And then we looked back at him and said, so what's the catch? Mm-hmm. He said, there's no catch. I thought, there will be. There will be. So I said, right, well, I'll tell you what, we'll switch all of our own properties to it.
Right.
So we switched all of our own onto it, and it was exactly as it said on the tin. And I was like, excellent. Right. So we say to landlords now, you
Tell
can do
them
it.
about it. Okay, we've done it. We've
So,
tested.
yeah, so when people come in and you sort of say to them, well, try that. I'll not badmouth any areas of Wigan, but you'll say to them, try this area, that's a good return, this area, and they're like, ooh, well, what sort of tenant you're going to get?
Right.
9 times out of 10, the areas that these people are talking about, the people that move in, they're very often salt of the earth people. Mm-hmm. They've been born and raised in that area, the family's all round there, and they want to stay there.
Yeah.
And when you tell the landlords, look, and you'll get this rent on time, and you'll get covers you the eviction with no excess if they don't pay.
These worst case scenarios,
It's
you're still covered.
Yeah, if it takes 6 months to get them out or 12 months to get them out, if they don't pay, then you're covered. And they're like, and I've put all my own properties on it.
Yeah.
And I'm an open book.
That's a big one.
I'm an open book, you know. I'll tell people what I've bought a property for, what it's cost me to renovate it, how much what the mortgage is.
Right.
Because if I'm telling an investor the advice on it, I want to be sort of true and say, look, this is what it's costing me, this is what I'm making. Right. And I will show them my statements.
Wow.
I'm
That's
very,
quite a level you go to.
It's not because I'm trying to prove myself, it's just to say, look, this is what I do.
Let's work together.
Yeah. You know,
I like that.
This is how it works, because quite often you'll get a husband come in with a wife, and it could be the husband or wife that are a little bit, whoa, I'm not sure.
Yeah, a wee bit of scepticism, yeah.
Yeah. So it's more to...
That's tremendous.
It's more to put their mind at ease. There's never a hard sell on the service. It's like, this is what we can do. If you like it, great. And I think that works well as well.
It does, yeah.
You know.
Just transparent.
Yeah.
Just nice and genuine, authentic. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because as you know yourself, when the likes of Paul is on stage, he'll describe all of these different options for the problem solving we spoke about.
Yeah.
But he'll hammer home legal, ethical, moral.
Yeah.
That's it. Keep thinking that, guys. You know, just keep thinking those three. Think way outside the box. Think total wild ways and workarounds and stuff. Go for it. That's what we're here for. We want to become our own problem solvers, but keep going back to them. Legal, ethical and moral.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
brilliant.
yeah.
You've obviously
Absolutely.
got that. Is that just from your family background anyway? Is that your parents? Is that, this is how you're going to do business anyway?
Yeah, I mean, my dad's... he's always been a really good role model, my dad.
Right.
Very honest sort of guy. And he's quite open as well, you know, and you sort of see that. And yeah, so I've learned a lot from my dad in that respect,
Because when he started that business, the estate agency side, was that him? Was he a businessman, or was that his first venture into that? What was his background?
I mean, he'd just prior to that, he'd faced a lot of adversity. He'd previously had a business years before that, which was called Byron Winnard, which was an estate agency.
Right, okay.
He sold that to Whitegates.
Ah, right.
I think part of his contract with White, I mean, I was probably about 9, 10, 11, something like that back then. Part of the deal with Whitegates was that he needed to stay on for, I think it was about 2 years.
Oh, right, okay, a wee transition thing.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. He did that. He stayed on for a couple of... It might have been 4 years in the end. I think he stayed a little bit longer. And then decided, look, we're going to move to Tenerife. And as a kid at 11, I was like, I don't want to move to Tenerife. All my friends,
my pals have become... Yes, that's massive.
Yeah, can I go and live with my auntie? I want to stay.
Wow.
I didn't want to go. So they bought them and another couple who were like really good friends with, they bought 8 apartments.
Right.
And the plan was that they would buy the apartments, they would rent those out, and he would also sell property in Spain. He would essentially be a Spanish estate agent.
Ah, okay.
So, but this was back in the day where solicitors in Spain and certain people were a little bit more unscrupulous. So they bought the apartments, they handed over pretty much the life savings, and it all went wrong. There were basically mortgages on them already. I think we're in the apartment one day and some guy came in and was like, "What are you doing in my apartment?" We're like, "What are you doing in our apartment?"
Goodness.
And then he basically faced a 5-year court battle from that. Yeah, it was a really sort of tough time for mum and dad. They always say behind every great man is a greater woman. To me, my dad, he's a great man. But I think there was times where he was like, "Oh my God, I can't keep doing this." He was having to pay a solicitor to go out there, and he was like, "This could be throwing good money after bad." But my mum was saying, "You've got to keep going. You've got to keep going."
Right.
And eventually they sort of settled on the door. So, yeah, they eventually, but the amount of people that went wrong for at the time, and we're going back probably 30 years ago,
Right.
who just walked away.
Exactly.
They wouldn't risk putting more money in, remortgaging the property to pay for the solicitor. They just wouldn't risk it. They just thought, "I'm going to cut my losses." And he just kept going. He eventually got that. And then he was like, "Right, we're not moving to Tenerife anymore." I was like, "Great."
Wow.
Sorry it's happened that way. But
So during that whole period, it was up in the air, we'll go, we'll not go, your whole life?
It was, I only actually ended up spending about 4-6 weeks out there.
Did you?
Yeah, and I came back, and I was happy to be back. Obviously, at that sort of age, I didn't realise all the ins and outs that was going on, probably all the stress that my mum and dad were under. And at that point, that's when he said, "Right, I need to do something." And he basically took over part of an estate agency.
Right.
He agreed a deal with a guy at the time who he had that office. The guy had the other office, but the guy said, "Look, will you continue to trade it under the same name?"
Right.
And I don't know if you call it stupidly, naively, or just a great gentleman's agreement. It was a handshake and yes,
right.
I'll trade as this, what's mine's mine, what's yours is yours. We'll have an agreement on you don't go past the Wigan sign going out of Standish and Gathers Bridge coming the other way. And it was just a verbal agreement.
Oh, what? That's old school.
Disclaimer, don't do that again.
Don't do that. There's your 2019 warning.
Oh, yeah. And that worked really well for 18 years.
Wow.
That's pretty much unheard of these days.
Yeah,
you
definitely.
Just wouldn't do it.
My goodness.
Yeah, so it started literally from when I say he took it over as an estate agent. It wasn't being run as an estate agency. It was literally just the Halifax Building Society agency in there.
Yep.
Where you could, if you wanted to, just get some sales particulars. Back in the day where you photocopied and you stuck the sticker on.
Wow.
And he actually gave me a job there, my dad, on a Saturday morning.
Right.
I think it was 3.5 hours for £5.
Oh, brilliant.
There's one of the girls there who still works for us from back then, and that was back in the day where I was sort of like 15 or whatever then, and I'd put my dad's blazer on, didn't have my own suit, and she always said, Angela, who works for me, she was like, "Do you remember, Craig, back in the day when you used to walk down with your dad's purple blazer?"
Oh, it's purple. Oh, yeah, cracker.
You know, and I'd walk in and first job for you now today, Craig, empty the bins and make us all a brew.
That's starting low.
Yeah,
that was like you've had some lessons, haven't you?
Yeah.
I mean, through it, just seeing stuff, and obviously, as you say, you didn't really know at the time, but looking back now, you can see all of those problems, the things that can go wrong in business, the things that can go wrong in the property world, the stresses, the hassles, legal issues. You've got that whole, right, you come in, no, you're starting early, pal, you're starting at the bottom rung of the ladder, and learning and growing, and it just, all this experience, it's building up, that's priceless.
Yeah.
Absolutely priceless. The family aspect.
Yes.
What, we better be careful, obviously. What would you say about that for people listening, watching, and thinking about, starting their own business, getting in there, the ups and downs, the pros and cons of it all?
Do it with family?
Yes.
Don't do it. No.
There you go. Case closed. Next question.
No. No, on a serious note, it's like with any family, you'll, especially brothers, or whatever. Myself and my brother can have
the testosterone angle.
Yeah, we've had some arguments over the past, but I think any business and partners will have their arguments.
Yeah.
I think the big thing for us is no matter what, no matter how bad things have got, and it's, I think, largely because you have got that family aspect. You probably find it more comfortable to argue with each other than what you might do with a lot of other people.
True, yeah.
But the big thing, we've always stuck with it. We've always stuck together. We're sort of, 26, 27 years in,
right.
And we're all still together.
Brilliant.
And it's sort of, my dad took the chance on the business to start with. He brought my brother in to set up a lettings department, which I think had about 40 properties on maybe when I started, and then we both developed that. My sister came in about 10 years later, something like that. And, we all say, look, I always said there's no such thing as self-made, because no matter what you've got and where you are, you've either had someone with you, be it your wife, your friend, your partner, your employees. You can't get to where you are without some form of team helping you.
Yeah, so true.
And I've always said, look, we are where we are because of each other.
Yeah.
And we've just done different things to help each other. My sister's very much one of those who, if you've got an in-depth contract to read, she's got a degree. She was a nurse working in theatre. So if there's a big, thick, in-depth contract, she'll go over it with a fine-tooth comb, and something will come in. I say, God,
slide that to
take
her.
a look at that.
Oh, yeah,
let me know.
I've had a read of it. Can you now double check it and we'll chat?
Yeah, she'll bring up certain things, and yeah, don't get me wrong, I'll read it, but she'll go in.
Yeah.
She really goes over things
That's
with a fine tooth comb, and I'll pick out certain things, and she'll pick out usually more, and then we'll go over it and we'll sort it all out. Yeah, we've all got different things and different abilities, and it works really well. It works really well. I used to sort of say I'd watch my dad as I was growing up, and as he started taking more and more of a back seat, and I used to. The saying is now he conducted the orchestra.
There you go.
He would be. I used to say he's sort of like the God watching over us, and sort of. But yeah, I've since learned the phrase. He's conducting the orchestra.
See, it all makes sense to you.
Yeah.
You've actually seen it firsthand.
I have.
That is tremendous.
Yeah,
what's the kind of the plans, the future plans for it all? The businesses, the areas, the family members, etc.
Yeah. So we're. My dad's been retired for a while.
Right.
Myself, my brother and my sister are still very active within the business.
Right.
We set up Winnard Property Solutions, obviously dealing with investors. I've got some commercial to residential deals going on at the moment.
Excellent.
I'd like to get into development.
Right, okay,
more
the
and more
land stuff and new builds and everything, right, okay.
Obviously when the time's right. I'm not sure I'd do a land deal at the moment with some of the predictions, but
some of the predictions for next year.
But yeah, without a doubt, I'm still buying property now. I'm still buying commercials. I'm buying residentials, and just doing the numbers on them, making sure that they work out. What's
the bits that float your boat? What's the bits of the business that really get you?
At the moment, I really like the commercial to resis.
Do you?
Yeah, you pay a little bit less stamp duty usually. You like that, Richard?
It's all about the money.
I just sort of, you can get several units out in one fell swoop, can't you? And that's what can sort of catapult you. There's usually more scope to then refinance and get money out again.
Yes.
And go again. So I like that. I love deals now where you can buy, do some sort of renovation, refinance, get your money back out. And that's the way that these people who you see who've got hundreds or even thousands, I think, is it Rob Moore's got 2,000 or 5,000? It's something ridiculous, isn't it? And I'm like...
That's right. You're trying to work out those numbers.
I don't think I'll get to Rob Moore level, but...
Never say never.
No.
That's one of your targets.
Yeah. I read a post, he said he had when he got to 20, he thought he was doing well. So he's obviously
he's
done a
funny
lot more
isn't
since.
it? You know, you look back and then wow,
it's
all those milestones. You've seen that yourself with your business.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's because like I say, obviously it's the letting started from scratch.
Exactly.
So you look back now and think, how did we get to that?
Yeah.
You know, how did 27 years go? I've been there full time 23 years, but like I say, I started there emptying bins and making coffees from the age of 14. So I've been actively in it for 27 years, and you look back, where did that go?
Yeah, exactly.
I could have committed murder and been out.
But it's been a fun journey.
It's been incredible, and still a long way to go. Yeah. Still a long way to go.
So on the commercial to resi side, is there any wee tidbits we should throw viewers and stuff? If they're thinking about it, what things would you tell them? Make sure you do this, make sure you do that, or watch out for this. That's the pitfall, such and such. Anything off the top of your head to help them there?
The key with anything is you've got to do your due diligence. You've got to make sure that the numbers stack. Be very, very keen on the costs to do the renovation.
The refurb, the conversion.
Yeah. Make sure you've got a contingency.
Yes.
Nothing ever comes in on target, so make sure you've got the contingency.
It's called an estimate for a reason, isn't it?
Yeah. That's it. You know, when you start sort of peeling back the layers, quite often there's a phone call. Can you just come in and take a look at this one? Do the due diligence. Make sure you've got good builders, and make sure your numbers are right.
Right.
Make sure that you've got another option if that doesn't work out that way.
Yes, good point.
What's your other option? Give yourself a best case, a worst case, most likely case.
I like it.
If you can live with the worst case, then you're probably onto a good thing there.
That's a very good thing. Actually, you see with that mindset, you can do really well in land, because that's one of the real key components of it. That's what we find when the actual land training that we do with other clients is having that trilogy of viewpoints.
Yeah.
Here's that middle ground. This is what my numbers are all on, but I'm going to adjust it up a little bit. I'm going to adjust it down a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's because you think, well, okay, what's the point of that? That's a waste of time. But no. When you start to expand that bubble, so you're thinking residential is one property, here's the numbers. Okay, but you've just spoke there about commercial to residential. That could be 7 units. Suddenly you've expanded the calculator quite a bit. And then if you go even further to land, to new builds, a whole estate you're building, or 90 odd flats you're building, suddenly one wee tweak, the impact is gigantic. So that's a brilliant mindset you've got there for doing that. Seeing the kind of the calculations that are just slightly tweaked one way or another. I like that. Good
that's
man.
it. And you look at a lot of deals, and for me, you look at more that are no than a yes.
Yes, that's a good point as well.
That's so when you hear about people that are doing land, or they're looking at just a standard buy to let.
Yep.
It's not unusual to look at, well, it's probably that you'll be looking at no's than yeses.
Correct. We've got to do
Don't
that.
get disheartened.
We've got to sieve through to find the bits of gold, haven't we? That's a good point actually about the mindset.
Yeah, it's not as easy as people might sort of have you believe. You'll see all the great things,
yes,
but you don't see all the bad things, and very often people will tell you the great things. And they won't tell you the bad things.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
I think I did a video actually a few weeks ago on the.
I was going to say that.
To say about that,
going to say that. Yep.
Because I could see one or two people were getting a little bit disheartened, and I was like, right, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to tell you one or two things here that have not quite worked out for me. Just so that you know, it happens to everybody. Yes. It happens to absolutely everybody, no matter what level you are at. You will have things go wrong. It's how do you deal with it? What do you do with it? Do you sort of crumble, or do you deal with it? And come up with something else.
That was really perfect. I remember that happening, because you are one of those guys that you're sharing so many things, and everybody, oh, well done, Craig. And here's my latest refurb, and it's going to be 25 grand. Oh, well done, Craig. And you're right. Other people, the new people in the tribe, they're looking, oh God. is it me? You know, am I screwing this up? And then you come out and says, no, look, here's another mess I made. Here's one I screwed up. Here's one I missed out on. Ah, right, okay.
Yeah.
So it's happening to that big guy as well that I've put up on a pedestal.
Yeah.
So it was really good.
Yeah,
and the tribe are
yeah.
brilliant at doing that. They're talking constantly and sharing it in the group about, oh, I lost this investor. Oh, I lost this viewing. I lost this offer. This fell apart at the last minute. And it keeps everybody going.
Of course it does. It's business at the end of the day, and anyone who says my business has always run perfect, I've never had a problem, just walk away from them at that point.
That's a fairy tale. That is one big fairy tale.
That just doesn't happen. Some of the most successful people in the world, they've had more downs than they've had ups.
Totally.
You
You
know,
read those
but
autobiographies and you see it.
Yeah.
Wow, did that happen? Oh, geez, I never realised that was behind his story. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and they've come back from a lot worse.
Yeah.
So
Some of the flips you're doing and stuff, the refurbs that have been going on, what can we share about that? What kind of numbers are involved? What kind of things you've been doing? How long should it take? You know, but people listening in thinking, right, those bitey flips, those refurbs these guys chat about, what is that? You know, how much do I need to spend, etc. How long does that take? How much money can I make out of it?
Yeah, I haven't been doing a lot of buy to flips, to be fair.
Right, you moved.
I've been doing more sort of renovate money out.
To do right,
Because some people, I know Paul will always say, well, you know, if you get the profit, and I get that. Yeah. I like to keep mine.
I like to keep mine.
I'm greedy. No, I just. Not all of them, but I just like the idea of building that security, building that number of properties, building that long-term equity.
Yeah, that's that's the long-term path, isn't it?
Yeah. But what I'm
strategies.
But what I'm doing is I'll buy properties and then do some sort of renovation,
right,
and then refinance, get the money out.
Yeah,
so you've got all of your money out. I try to get 6 months, but if I can do it 12 months or just over, I'm okay with that.
That's brilliant.
And then you're on an infinite return on investment.
Exactly. Now that's great. That's gold dust. Yeah. And, well, I don't want to brush over that because a lot of the professionals, the people working with you in Protege, they know exactly what you're talking about. But any newbies, any people listening in who've not jumped into the world yet, if we'll just delve into that. So you're talking about finding a great deal. You know, making sure you get a good purchase on it. You know, it's below market value. You're doing that. But then you're looking at adding the value to it, aren't you, for whatever it is, you know, a refurb, a tidy up, a conversion. And you're getting that higher level. And then because of that, you're refinancing. You're going back to the lending company and you're refinancing to pull, as you said, pull your money out, pull that initial money out that they put in. Which is great. I mean, this is just easy stuff to us, but I think it's a great thing to share with viewers, because then, if the viewers listening to this, as you said, that phrase, infinite return.
Yeah.
Because once you've reached that point, all the money that's coming in, all the rent that's coming in, it's an infinite return.
It's
perfect.
You've literally no money left in it. It's sort of like going to a cash machine once a month, taking out £300, say.
Yeah, exactly. So this can happen, can't it? This is a thing you can actually do if you do it properly.
Yeah, this is how the guys that have got these hundreds of properties have done it.
Correct.
They didn't start off with millions in the bank and just go, I'll have that.
No.
They didn't do it. But the vast majority, like myself, you start off with, I can just about scrape together the money to get one.
To do this, yeah.
I started my personal portfolio just through remortgaging my own property.
Yep, of course.
And at the time, I'd seen a dream home that I wanted. It was in a time when house price had really fallen.
Right.
And I had enough equity to refinance my own property.
Right.
And buy this farmhouse that I'd seen for a pretty good price. And my dad and my brother were saying, don't do it, Craig, don't do it. The economy's not great at the moment.
Right.
And I was like, I want that house.
Oh, that's a battle between head and heart.
Yeah, but I said, what I did was I worked out your worst case scenario.
Right. Brilliant.
And the house that I was buying was, I think I got it for about 300,000 at the time. Mm-hmm. I could get that on an interest-only mortgage to live in myself. Now, a lot of people will sort of cringe and scowl at that. But my theory was this house was probably more like a £450,000 farmhouse. It had stunning views up Rivington at the back with horses in the fields, and it was like, this is what I've always wanted.
Wow.
So I thought my theory was I can buy it, the interest-only mortgage at £600 a month or whatever it was. So it wasn't a huge amount. I'll get it on a 2-year. I'll rent my house out. I was in a 3-bed house at the time, fairly small 3-bed house. I'll rent that one out. That'll cover. And with this one, I'll live in it for 2 years, just to live in that dream home for 2 years. And then after that, I'll sell it and I'll go back to my little 3-bed property.
Okay.
And I liked it in the that house. It's hard to go back.
Oh yes.
But what I did was at the end of the 2 years, I sold that property, and the economy was coming up a little bit more then.
Right.
So I took some more money out of that one and bought another buy-to-let.
Right.
And the 3-bed house that I was in, a guy that I knew wanted to sell his. It was a coach house. It was basically a 2-bed apartment over the top of 3 garages.
Gotcha.
He wanted to get out of that, and I wanted to sort of get rid of the 3-bed detached because it wasn't a great return on investment.
Right.
So at that point, we did a part exchange. I took that one and I bought another property.
Right.
And it's literally just been from equity in other properties through reshuffling that I've bought another, then another, and then another. It's not been through big bonuses through employment because letting agents don't earn a lot of money.
Yep.
You know, it's never been through that. It's been purely through property. And I think if I can, it's the old cliche, if I can do it, anyone can do it. But with property, it's so true. You know, it's not like a 7-foot basketball player saying to me, Craig, if I can play for Chicago Bulls, you can.
Come on, just stretch.
Come on, jump a little bit higher. Property, anyone who's particularly, people who started with no money, as we know. I know a guy who started with no money. This guy.
That guy there, Mr. McFadden, exactly.
He's done a lot more in a lot less time than what I have. I've just done mine through refinancing, leveraging, buy another. And I remember when I first got my own personal buy-to-let, it was like, right, I'm going to make £300 a month extra. I was like, wow, that's £300 a month pay rise. That's fantastic.
Come on.
Absolutely fantastic. I don't need anything else then. And then you sort of get used to that extra. And then you think, I could leverage that and I could buy another. And now then you think, well, 600, they think, but I've got used to that and I'm spending that now.
The empire builds.
And so you've got to start, you basically, then you start thinking, well, this is working really well.
Yeah.
So you just go on, and then you look at the money out deals that come along and how you can leverage and get money out. And a lot of people are like, well, if I can get sort of 20% return on investment, that's great. And it is great. Yeah. But it's not as good as infinite.
Correct. Can you beat that number? There's nothing above that number. Oh, fantastic.
No.
That was a great share. Good on you.
Yeah.
Because it's good, because for people to hear that and hear the different avenues, hear the short-term plans, long-term plans, hear how can you build it with nothing? I've got nothing here. That it can be done. It can be done. That's brilliant.
100%. You've just got to either come up with the strategy yourself or speak to someone.
Yes, correct. Learn it. Someone else has done it. Someone else, a Mr. McFadden, he's been there. Go and learn from him. Do that, learn off these people. Yeah. That's brilliant.
People don't believe it sometimes.
No, of course.
And it's not too good to be true.
Yeah.
There's people done a hell of a lot from nothing and a hell of a lot from just taking a small piece of equity out of their own property and then building from there. Even if it's 1 or 2, whatever it is, just to get that little bit extra, have it there for your pension when you're older.
Exactly.
There's absolutely tons and tons of ways that you can do it and leverage.
Perfect. I want to be respectful of your time. You're up here with the family, really appreciate it. There's one wee area I want to grab some tidbits off you as well, and that's marketing. Because you're quite famous for this in the group, with all sorts of wacky ideas going, right, now I'm doing this, and like, oh my goodness, what is he up to now? It's tremendous. Some of the stuff you've done is just fantastic. Any business owner should have a chat with you. And what's some of the things you've rolled out? What do you remember with the radio one? Was
the
fantastic.
Radio, the We Buy Houses Wigan, little bit of a jingle.
A wee jingle, that was tremendous. When you shared that in the group, it was like, this is brilliant. A wee catchy jingle.
Yeah, I think it's just about doing something slightly different. One of the better adverts that I did, or one that when I did it, people thought I'd absolutely lost my mind, absolutely lost the plot. And on the side of our building in Standish, we used to put like a little board on of advertising lettings or whatever.
Right.
And it's like anything, you know, can you tell me what's on that sign over there? It doesn't grab your attention, you drive past them, but we're sort of sat right at the corner of the crossroads.
Right.
And I came up with an idea. If I put a massive juicy burger on the board, people who are sat there on the way home from work are going to think, why is there like a huge like triple Big Mac on that board there? And start reading. So it was. So I think the caption was hungry ?
Right.
And the amount of text I got over that.
Is that right?
You bleep bleep. Yes, I was starving. Can you take that? Can you take the burger down? You're a flaming letting agent.
Oh,
Why have you got a burger on the side
fantastic.
of your building? So it was like hungry, and I put a big sign. I think it was, sorry, we can't help you with your appetite, but we can help you with your hunger for wealth to get into property investment. And it went from there. And there was quite a bit of info on there.
Right.
And in advertising, less is always more.
Sure.
But this worked really well because people will be sat in the traffic lights here, and the sign was on the wall.
Right.
My window in my office was above the sign.
Right.
And I could see people going,
They're mouthing it from their cars.
and then they're like,
That's test and measure, and you're actually standing watching it from your window.
Yeah, when
I love
the girls in the office were like,
He's
completely lost the plot.
It's time to look for another
He's
job.
completely lost it. He's yeah. The guy when I was making the sign, he was like,
Seriously?
Yeah.
Do you want me a big? How big a burger?
Yeah. I was speaking to our rep at Rightmove, and I showed him the advert, and he was like, yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's good, that, Craig. And we put it on the wall, and loads of people phoned up. I've seen this. Yeah, can you come in and have a chat with you?
Fantastic.
It really worked. That was one of the best adverts we ever did.
That's bonkers.
And when the guy came back from Rightmove a couple of months later, we got onto the subject. He said, "I'll be honest with you, Craig." I said, "Yeah, it sounds good." He said, "I thought you'd absolutely gone crazy." I said, "I know."
I didn't want to see.
I said, "But it got people looking."
Oh,
I said, "I got a few messages off friends. Can you take that down? Because it's really irritating because they're starving on the way home from work." But
I want a burger.
That worked really well.
Tremendous.
We did the Wizard of Wigan jingle.
Yeah. And then the wee videos, the animated videos that look like as if they're drawn in, sketched. I've seen quite a few of those as well.
Yeah. So it's, I think it's just about getting people engaged, really.
Yes, something different, something eye-catching. Yeah.
Because you, obviously on your advert, you want to put in as much content as possible.
Yeah.
But quite often that's the worst thing that you can possibly do.
Yeah.
Because people just won't read it all.
Yeah.
So you've got to do something where it gets their attention. This one was, it's just a sketch, and they're going through and it's talking, and it's, for me, I won't read stacks and stacks and stacks of things. It doesn't sort of engage me. I like to watch a video of someone, listen to someone talking, or the whiteboard was both. It's someone talking whilst they're sketching out.
Exactly.
And for me, that was, it's simple but engaging, and it gets the message across. Yeah. So, I thought that was...
and it's the modern world, isn't it? Kids watching YouTube videos, wee tiny sections at a time, and, it is. It grabs you visually, and then you're drawn in. And then the story gets told. Yeah. That's tremendous. Tremendous. So, the last part of the puzzle then, the family. You've got the beautiful family up with you. Yes. Lovely lady we met earlier. And the wee man, your prize joy, your little looker. Is he going to be dragged into this madcap world?
Oh, do you know, it was funny. I've asked myself the question, and I was just thinking the other day, I think I was coming out of work quite late, and I was thinking, I'd like him to get involved in it, but be where maybe he could work 3 or 4 days a week, 5 hours a day. That was my thought on one side, but on the other side was I don't want him to have too much of an easy life. So it's getting that balance,
So
isn't it?
you've started that panic already.
Yeah,
because I've got that
yeah.
as a dad, and you'll keep chasing that.
Course,
Am I doing
yeah.
too much? Am I too hard? Am I too soft?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And you want them to learn, you want to give them a hand, you want to support them, but at the same time, you knew where you came from. You know? Your dad deliberately made you do the coffee for a reason.
The coffee in the bins,
You know?
and I mean, people sort of see the picture now and they'll say, "Oh, you were just handed things," or I was given an opportunity, and it was either do something with it.
Yes.
You know, like I said, at the time, I was in an all clapped out Sierra. My brother was in an all clapped out Nissan Bluebird. He got a lot of stick for, and the early days, it was a lot of hard work, a lot of long hours. I didn't have any holidays for 2 years, and then I had a week off, and I sat on the beach. I was like, oh my God, 1 week off in 2 years. I was like, this is awesome. This is unbelievable.
Finally.
Now I've got an amazing team. You know, the staff. I can go away, and I know that the staff are there. They'll take care of everything. So loyal as well. You know, there's staff that's been with us, like I said, right from the start. 27 years. Others that have been with us 20 years.
Wow.
And they're a great team. So I don't want to just give Luca everything.
No.
Because I think that's the wrong thing to do. But at the same time, I want to sort of give him a help up. I think it would be wrong of me to say you're on your own.
Well, you said the word yourself, opportunity. I'll give him this opportunity. And then he can either screw it up, run with it, or maybe even decline it. Maybe say, no thanks, Dad, I'm going to do this. Yeah. Take it from there.
And that's the thing, you know, I mean, without a doubt, I'm sure he will go through like I did.
Yeah.
Different ideas. I remember at one point, I think I cracked up at that point. I was watching a lot of Mike Tyson, and I decided I wanted to be a boxer.
Oh my God.
And myself and a few friends, we didn't have any boxing gloves, but we used to sort of like parcel tape up foam pads and spar in the street. And I said to him, I'm going to be a boxer, Dad. And my dad said, you are not cut out to be a boxer. These guys, toughness is on a different level. You won't be a boxer.
Okay. Oh no. You know what? I'm going to finish with one last thing, and it's to protect young Luca's future. Whatever you do with him, don't make him wear a purple blazer.
No.
So there you go. I'm in the wee man's corner. Craig, for your time today, for all the wisdom you've shared, the tips and tricks, your story, absolutely brilliant, really fascinating. I'm sure it's going to inspire a lot of people watching as well. Thanks a million for your time.
No, thank you, Richard.
Cheers.
A pleasure.
Hi folks, it's Richard here again. I really hope that you enjoyed today's show. Now listen, I've got 2 links to help support you on your property journey, and I want you to write these down when it's safe to do so. You might be driving in your car just now listening to the podcast, and that's fine, but please make sure that you get back to this and write down these links. Okay, are you ready? Got your pen in hand? So the first one, thisweekinproperty.com. Now that's the website for this podcast. On there, make sure you subscribe to the podcast so that you don't miss out. What you can also do on there is catch up on tons and tons of past episodes. There are hours and hours of property related content and some amazing guests with some fantastic insights to help you on your property journey. So that is thisweekinproperty.com. Okay, next link, propertyprotege.com. Now let me spell that one out for you. PROPERTY PROTEGE. That's propertyprotege.com. Now what's it all about? Well, the Property Protege Intensive is designed to give you the lift that you need into the world of property. And if you've already started, if you've already got some experience, then this can help you accelerate your progress even further. The experiences that people have had at Protege and the success that they've achieved afterwards has been life-changing for many people. So go there right now if you're serious about property and if you want to build a highly successful property business. That's propertyprotege.com. So there you go. That's 2 links to some fantastic resources that are going to help you. And listen, talking about help, can you help me to help other people? You see, the more that we can share this podcast, then more people can learn from the fantastic guests that I've been so lucky to talk to. How can you help? Well, it's very simple and very quick. Just a short review on iTunes is going to help make that happen. If you go to thisweekinproperty.com/iTunes, that will guide you to the very place that you will be able to help other people. So thank you. Thanks for doing that, and thanks for listening into the show. And I look forward to bringing another great guest to you in the next show.